How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid. It's great to be back putting out videos for you guys. I had some business to take care of. It ended up finishing being down 3.5% on the day. So of course we got to talk about it. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $17.30, being down 3.57%. On the low, it tested $17.20, and then on the high, testing $17.93. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 10.874 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 20.9 million shares. So we have below the average in regards to volume, and we've seen a slight pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 45.70. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, we're below the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that Lucid is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. So here's what we need to keep in mind. Taking a look at the recent price action, we have consistently been forming lower lows and as well as lower highs for 4 trading days. And we are getting close to this gap. I talked about this gap many times in previous videos, which is around $16.82. So there is a strong possibility Lucid will be filling in that gap sometime this week. As far as for the low of the day, we ended up holding at $17.20. So if you want to see it pick up and have some strength, then you want it to reclaim the 21-day EMA, which is at $18.09. But we have to keep in mind that the high of the day was at $17.93. So you want to have a break above this level with bulls pushing up the price further and essentially getting it also to the 50-day, which is at $18.28. But overall, we could see with the price action and from these sell-offs for the past 4 days, it is looking fairly bearish. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings here, we have for the 29th, we have Pace Alternative Strategies that has a short position of 20,413 shares. We also have Vanguard Total World Stock Index Fund that purchased 209,075 shares. We also have Sustainable Equity Fund Class Y with a short position of 2,117 shares. We have Invesco, which purchased 18,777 shares. You can see a closed position here for the 28th. And then as far as for the 27th, we have iShares that purchased 138,196 shares. And then we have CPI IQ Real Return ETF that purchased 89 shares. And we have iShares MSCI KLD that purchased 77,533 shares. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 57.01%. And then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 2.44 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 100,000, updated 16 minutes ago. And then for the short biofuel rate, it is at 38.99%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 27th, it is at 61.32. And then for the close of the 28th, being at 57.01. So when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 22.5%, 0.58%, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see on the inflow, it was at 24.92 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 37.24 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0.85 million. On the medium, it was 13.08 million, and then on the small, it was 10.99 million. Take a look at the outflow side. On the large, it was 5.64 million. On the medium, it was 17.24 million, and then on the small, it was 14.36 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, June 29th, we had that outflow of 4.78 million, and on the 28th, it was 8.61 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, you can see that we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then for the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, you can clearly see we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 0.65%. And this is not too bad whatsoever for a stock like Lucid. We're actually used to it being in the 1% range. So many are still continuing to hold on to their positions. And with the sell-offs we've been seeing inside of the markets, Lucid has been holding itself up fairly well. Now let's move on to the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details. So for my final thoughts for Lucid when it comes to the price action, so we ended up seeing a high at $17.93, and we saw a low at $17.20. We have the 21-day EMA right around $18.09. So you can see from the price action that we had today, it was below that level. We need to get back to the 21-day EMA for Lucid to show some strength. And the main reason behind this is what's been going down inside of the markets. We have quite the pullback and many stocks have been affected by this. And that $17.20 level where we tested as for the low, we have to keep a close eye on it. Because if we end up going to $17, we want to see strength. But if it breaks through 17 and if it gets below $16.50, that's where things can really start looking bearish. The chart is looking bearish already since we see a consistent pattern of lower lows and as well as lower highs. So that is why you want to make sure if you are going to be trading this play, you're paying attention to those levels. So now you know what it looks like for the upside, and then of course you know what it looks like for the downside. So please add that to your homework. This is very essential in this bear market that we are in. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we do see a good amount of activity, and there also are short positions. I'm not surprised about that. This is a growth stock. We are in a high inflationary environment. And then when we took a look at the short interest information, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. So that is why you want to continue to keep a very close eye on this play. The moment we have a turnaround inside of these markets, then I know Lucid will be able to get to those levels where we needed to get to. Like I said, is above $18. Of course, it does need to get to $20, which is a psychological area for this play. Will it be able to do this for the coming week? I'm personally not seeing it. But if we can get a close around $19 or even above $18, that is not too bad as well, because do know we usually have a rally around the 4th of July. When it's going to be coming, I can't exactly pinpoint it, but I'm looking for a rally within the next week. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.